Good evening, everyone. Good evening out there. I'm just in my little jam session, which is going to take me into tonight's show. But before I get there, welcome, welcome, welcome to another episode of Monday Nights with Dannie Stewart. I am your host, Dannie Stewart. And I want to thank you all, first off, for viewing this show. If you haven't seen the other ones, go back, check them out, comment, talk to me, let me know what's going on in your mind, whatever you may have, any questions, comments, any things like that. I hope you enjoy them, and I hope you enjoy this one. And before I get started, just want you all to know if there's anything that I say that you agree with, that offends you, anything you want to comment on, do you have an idea for another show or anything like that, let me know by hitting my line at 202-599-1092. That is 202-599-1092. So anyway, you all were just kind of caught me into one of my favorite, actually my favorite all-time artists, the lovely, the beautiful, the voice, the late Miss Whitney Elizabeth Houston. And that was one of my favorite songs by her, Just the Lonely Talking. That was the extended version as well. So, there's a shorter version, there's an extended version. I enjoy the extended version because of that little piece right in there. We just kind of get the jam and get into your feelings and all of that. But anyway, that's just a snippet of the song. And it's funny, I was just talking to one of my friends, and we were just kind of discussing relationships and things like that. Because this week, unfortunately, I was talking to this guy, and we just had to break it off. I had to make a conscious decision that it wasn't the best thing for me because of some differences in understandings and how we treat each other and things like that. It wasn't anything bad. He's a great guy, actually, very handsome, really sweet, very attentive, very caring, but it just wasn't working for me. And that's something that we were just discussing on the phone, and I was like, wow, I have to bring that to my show. Like, I want to get that out there because one of the things in this whole search that we're doing for love is that there are times where we compromise our standards, some of our do's and our don'ts for companionship. And as much as we wouldn't want to do that, sometimes we can't help but doing it. And I'm not saying that I did that with him or anything like that, but this just kind of led to that conversation, which led to these epiphanies that we had, which I have to share with you all because it was some good stuff. Like, if I could go back and record that conversation, I would. But it just kind of happened in the moment. I jotted some stuff down so I could talk to y'all about it. But yeah, so we were talking, and that was one of the things that came up. And he actually was just kind of humming the song Lions, Tigers, and Bears by Jasmine Sullivan, which both of these songs carry similar meanings when it's in the search for love, but they're on two opposite ends of the spectrum, if you ask me. They're similar if some people can relate them and they're like right next to each other, but for me they're on opposite ends of the spectrum because of how I view them and just my perspective. So we'll start with Just the Lonely Talking. And Whitney Houston is singing about an encounter with the guy that she had already been talking to. You know, they had dated or what have you, and their, excuse me, their relationship just kind of fell apart for whatever reason, be it that he found someone else and he decided to run off with her, or he, wanted to break it up, or she found that he was cheating, or, whatever. Somehow or another, it broke off and it hurt her that first time around. And so she starts off the song, "It's the second time around for you and our boy. And believe me, it's confusing me." These are the lyrics. "I'm afraid to say let's make up and all's forgiven, but something tells me I'm headed for heartbreak." And then she just kind of, goes and she's just singing and singing and singing. And you're just like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And if you've ever been there before where you've had somebody that you were really feeling before and it all fell apart suddenly, and then you two come back into a connection, it just, you can feel this. So if you haven't heard the song, go to YouTube. It's on YouTube. I have Spotify as well. So I usually just put it on repeat on Spotify and just let it play. But YouTube, if you have it, and just listen to it, get into those lyrics. And what I take away from it is the chorus says, "Are you really ready for love, boy, or is it just the lonely talking?" And so the whole question of this song is, are you ready for love? Are you ready to give me all of the things that I deserve? Are you ready to for the long haul, as some people will say? Are you ready for that commitment, that dedication that love brings and that a real relationship brings? Are you ready for that? Or is it just the lonely talking? Are you lonely and you want companionship, and because you know that I still have feelings for you, are you just going to come back to me, use and abuse those feelings? And then when you're done and you feel like, okay, I can't do this anymore, or I've gotten my fix, my feel, whatever it is that you were looking for, are you just going to up and leave again? That's what she's asking. And it just really sets this alarm off in my mind, just like, oh my gosh. And I listen to it so often, and the whole time I'm like, Whitney was on to something when she did this song. Whoever wrote this song, they were on to something with these lyrics. Either this happened to them, or it happened to someone that they knew, but they were on to something when they wrote it. And that asks a very, 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 very important question. And this is how, it's gonna flow. Just bear with me, y'all. I'm gonna get the Lions and Tigers and Bears. Don't think that I forgot about Jasmine Sullivan. I did. I love that song too. But it asks this very important question: are you really ready for love? Or is it just the lonely talking? And I believe that's something that we all should ask ourselves. In any instant, someone can walk into your life and you can feel like, oh my gosh, you've been single for a week, you've been single for a month, you've been single for a year, several years. For some of us, we never had a boyfriend or girlfriend. So, but for those that have had the trial and error of dating, this is specifically for you. Um, it really asks a very, very powerful question. And I keep having to repeat it because I want you all, as I'm saying this, I want you all to think about it and try and apply it to your own life, because I do it daily. And, and it's asking, are you really ready for love? Or is it just the lonely talking? And I'm not going to lie. There are nights where I get very lonely. I'm like, oh, I wish I had somebody to talk on the phone with. I wish I had somebody to cake with. It'd be really nice to have a special someone, here in the bed, or here for me waiting home, or coming home to me, and all that other good stuff. That would be very nice. That's my ideal life, to have somebody waiting on me when I come home, or someone that will be coming home to me. But that's not my reality. And I have accepted that. But at the same time, it would be nice. And there are some nights that are a little bit harder than others, to where you really, 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 so, 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 so bad, with every fiber of your being, every inch of your soul, you want somebody. And sometimes that loneliness goes to talking. And in that loneliness talking, you reach out to that ex that you can always run back to make you feel safe and secure and loved. but that did you wrong, or treated you any kind of way and just broke your heart and hurt your feelings. But because you all are still in contact here and there, or you know that they'll come when you call because the lonely's talking. Or not even an ex, but that poisonous person that you know isn't any good. They're not going to do you, the way that you want to. You're having an emotional attachment to them, but your friends already told you they trash. You know that they trash. And so you're just like, okay, I'm gonna leave him alone. I'm gonna leave him alone. And you do good for a while, but then the lonely starts talking. And you notice that he's on Facebook talking about who's up, post something on Instagram, a couple minutes before you decide to log in from your phone. And he was like, oh, it say something about send a DM or something like that. And you ended up sending a DM, falling for the thirst trap. And he DMs you right back. And, the whole, hey, big head, what you up to? Or hey, stranger, blase, squaze. And then y'all end up texting. And then before you know it, you at his house and he's at your house. And whatever happens, and then feelings get, invested again. And then Shazam, you right back at step one where you in your feelings because you know that he trash, but y'all just share this intimate moment. And you don't know how to separate that from the rest of your life and, your good conscience because the lonely was talking. Or even worse, for those of us, and this is nothing wrong with that. It's nothing wrong with what I'm about to say. Get your life. But for those of us who have some of the dating apps like Jack'd and Tinder and Grindr and things like that, you go to perusing Jack'd and Tinder and Grindr and you're, all hook up here, hook up there, probably 2 and 3 hookups a night, something like that. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. Get your life. But are you doing it because the lonely's talking and you're trying to get back at somebody? Are you doing it because, it's making up for something that, is there some issue there that you're not addressing? And because this loneliness is talking, because this person that you love so much walked out of your life and you don't know how to handle that, and you haven't been able to come to terms with that, you're doing this to take your mind off of it. Every time the lonely starts talking, which seems to probably be every night, or just some of those nights, this is what you do because that happened. There are a lot of times where the lonely starts talking and we find ourselves falling victim of thirst traps and victims of the loneliness talking to us and us just acting on it. Then you have lions, tigers, and bears. And in that song, Jasmine Sullivan is singing about this person who scares her, because she loves him. She knows that she loves him. And she knows that he loves her. But for some reason or another in the relationship, it's unclear whether or not they're really meant for each other. And although there's a love there, they may not be meant for each other. And so she's trying to figure that out. And she's telling him these things. I'm not afraid of performing at a sold out affair. I'm not afraid of lions, tigers, and bears, but I'm scared of loving you. And she could be afraid of loving him for several reasons because, he may be inconsistent. It could be because, she can trust him to a certain extent, which if there's limited trust in a relationship, I feel like there's nothing there, but, um, it may be a similar situation that with, just the lonely talking. They may have had something before, it fell apart, they're getting back to it now, and she's just unsure whether or not it's going to stay there and it's going to continue to grow. So you're not sure whether you should invest your time and your emotions into this situation because you don't know what will come out of it. And nothing scares human beings more than uncertainty, not knowing. That's very scary to a human being. So anyway, that for me, and this, I kind of take Jasmine Sullivan as, getting to know somebody new. So that the reason why I say they're on opposite ends of the spectrum, let me explain that to you all. I say that I feel that because I feel like her song is one of those songs that you listen to, or it explains the beginning stages of meeting someone new and getting to know them and, trying to figure it out. And you have that initial lust that jumps into you because, of course, the person is physically attractive. That's just a given. We all date people who are physically attractive to us. And so then you start to find things that you like. And of course, almost everything that you get to find out about them, you like the way they smile, what they do, all these things that you have in common. Then you run into some of the stuff that you don't have in common, but it still attracts you for some reason or another because it's interesting to you because it's interesting to them, or it's something else about them that you get to know and it's just new information. And you're in that whole honeymoon phase. Just like everything is just great, it's beautiful. You wake up to those good morning texts, good morning, boo, good morning, whatever. And you get those good night texts, you get the pillow talk, you get the text in the middle of the day, and all that good stuff that comes with meeting someone new. I feel like that's what Lions, Tigers, and Bears is all about from Jasmine Sullivan. But with Whitney, I feel like you've gotten past that and you were working on something and you've gotten into those hard parts. And for some reason or another, when you ran into that one instance or, a couple instances where everything just kind of hit the fan and it just broke off for whatever reason. And now you're back to not really that starting point, but you're back to where it's like, you know what, okay, we've gotten past that, let's fix it, let's, whatever. And you're trying to figure out, where do we go from here? We've reconciled, or we're working on reconciling our differences and saying, you know what, all's forgiven. We just not gonna look back. We're gonna act like it didn't happen and we're just gonna keep going forward. Let's not let the past hold us back. Let's move forward with whatever it is that we're doing. And you're just in yourself, you're questioning. So for me, it's just like two different situations almost, but some people may think they're the same, but that was just my explanation. And so I bring this up because a lot of us are dating, everybody isn't taken happily, so it's just one of those things I seem to talk about with a lot of my friends all the time. And, even some of my coworkers, and we laugh and we joke and we talk about this and we talk about that. But it's a very serious question. Whereas, are you really ready? Or are you afraid? Or is it the lonely talking? And I break those up into three questions, and this is why. Are you really ready? Is one thing. And ready means more than emotionally available. To be ready for love, for me, to be ready for love is to be emotionally available to where if that person needs you for whatever reason, be it because they got an F on a test, somebody died, they got in a car wreck and their car is totaled, whatever it is, you're there for that emotional support. Because any and everything that happens to us living in this life garners an emotional response. When someone stops responding to things emotionally, then we have a problem. As long as they are responding with some type of emotion, be it anger, sadness, happiness, joy, whatever, we're good. Well, not so much, because some of that can be normal or abnormal depending on the different, that's where my psychology learning is coming in, excuse me, y'all. But yeah, there could be some normal, abnormal going on there. So, based on the context of the society that you live in and the environment, whatever the social norms are, that's what we determine what's normal, what's not normal. But for the most part, when you respond to something, it's a normal emotional reaction. And you need someone to be there to help cushion that blow. So you have to be emotionally ready, emotionally available. No holding on to somebody else that, you've been talked to, all the other stuff, you have to be ready to give of yourself and your emotions to that other person. And I'm not saying do it just off rip, like, oh my gosh, my heart is yours. But you have to be ready to do that, to prove your worth in their life. And not only that, but ready to hold them accountable for me being emotionally available to you. Are you ready? Financially, are you ready? A big thing now that I'm seeing, well, I guess it's not, but it's a little bit more common to me, are a lot of relationships are starting as long distance relationships, where you have, a person that lives in one place and the other person lives somewhere else. And so you have to coordinate times to see each other where it fits each other's schedule and the person traveling can handle it financially. Getting a room if that person doesn't live alone. A rental car if you're driving and you know that your personal car won't make the drive or you just don't want to put those miles on your car. Booking a flight because everybody don't want to drive. Yeah, money to just kind of hang around and do the things you want to do. Incidental mad money. If the date or the visit doesn't go like you want, being able to leave when you want to leave. Those types of things come into play when you have dating and even worse in dating now and cohabitating, having money to be able to, take care of things. And if this is something that you've worked out amongst each other to where one person is unemployed for whatever reason and the other person is employed, and if you all find that happiness, that's a wonderful thing. And be glad that you have it and you have someone understanding and willing to help you. That person, this is a yes, they're financially ready to back you in whatever it is that you need. So that's a good thing. I'm not saying that because you have to be employed and you have to have this and that to be in a relationship. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is there has to be an understanding that of each other's finances and each other's financial situation, so that when you enter into the relationship, there's a full out understanding that this person is handling this person's handling that, this is what we're looking at, this is our reality. That's what I'm saying. Excuse me. For everybody in New Orleans, it's my Melba's Club. Y'all know I love New Orleans. Melba's is a hot spot. If you ever go there, go to Melba's. But anyway, um, but yes, there needs to be a full understanding of finances so that if it is a long distance relationship, okay, we coordinate times we need to meet. Do we need to do a halfway thing? Do we just need to do, a visit every 2 months or something like that where one person just goes the whole way? Whatever it is that you all work out, work that out. If we're going to cohabitate, who's going to do this? Who's going to do that? Who's paying this? Who's paying that? Because a lot of issues with a lot of relationships, especially marriages, goes back to money. Who makes the most money? Who's the big breadwinner? And who's doing this and who's doing, all of that? Who's paying this? Who's paying that? It's sad that money breaks up a lot of relationships, but it does. And so a financial understanding of who's ready and who's not is what really constitutes a stronger understanding and will keep you all together because there's a full out understanding off rip of this person's finances, that person's finances. This is what we're looking at. And you can ask each other, are we ready for that? Is this something you can deal with? And if you say yes, okay, cool, both of y'all are good. If it's a no, that's even better. You know what? That gives you time to work on yourself and, figure out what it is that you need to do for you. So, finances. Mentally, and because May is mental health month, emotions and your mental well-being kind of go hand in hand, but it's still a difference. And this is, from a psychological understanding background, there's a difference. Mentally, mental capacities. This for me, I'm speaking on personality, maturity, things like that. Is this person really who you want? Or are they just, a farce of a, you know, person that they think that you want? Is this somebody that you really can see yourself with? Understanding this person's personality, the things that make them tick, the things that make them mad, their pressure points as far as, how they react to things, understanding them for who they are. That's another thing. And some people are ready, they may be emotionally available, but as far as who they are and their personality up here, that may not be what you want. You have their emotions, but along with their emotions and their heart and all that other stuff, you still have to deal with their personality and who that person is. And that may not be somebody that you want. It may not. Some people may like to go party all the time. Every time the club doors open, they have to be in there and they have to be in the party from whenever the doors open to whenever the doors close. That's not my cup of tea, so I'm not looking for a party animal. Meeting somebody at a club, no, because more than likely, that's what you're going to do all the time. I'm not a clubber like that, not anymore. I don't enjoy it as much as I used to. I'm more of the let's go for a walk in the park or, go to the zoo. I love animals, so going to the zoo is a really big thing for me. Or like a botanical garden, because I'm really into plants and flowers and things. So going to a garden and just strolling through the garden and, letting me go on and on and on about this plant and that plant and all that other stuff. Um, maybe the movies. I'm not really a movie goer these days either. Um, Fine dining, though, I do like food. So fine dining. So finding out the things that this person likes and making sure that it's something that you can handle. And even to the ticks of smoking, drinking habits, stuff like that. Because for me, I'm not a smoker. So I've actually made a decision quite recently actually where I don't think that I can date any more smokers. I'm not a smoker, and it's more so for a cohabitating thing because if we do decide to live together, I feel like it would be unfair because I don't smoke to tell you that you can't smoke in the comfort of your own home because this is both of our home. So, I'm not a smoker, so I'd rather not date a smoker. I drink, so if we, both are drinking, okay, that's cool. But then I don't want somebody that's like every day they walk in the door, it's a martini or a couple shots of vodka or something like that. Like I don't need somebody that needs liquor just to make it through the day. Like, nah, that's not me either. So just making sure that you know that person and you have a full understanding of who they are, and even so much so too, because it's Mental Health Awareness Month. Um, knowing their mental illnesses, because some people may have a good handle on it, but knowing their mental illnesses, some people are bipolar and we don't know it, and they may not know it. You might have some schizophrenia or something like that. So knowing, a mental situation like that, so you know how to help and deal with that person. Anger management problems, you have those too. So being able to help that person and, in some instances heal that person in any way, shape, or form, that's real love. And that's what love does. So, that's another are you ready? And then just your life as far as, some of the obligations that you have, some of your familiar obligations, personal obligations, such as school, things like that, those may be setbacks too, or even your job. Your job may not allow you to travel or do some of the things that the other person may require of you, especially if it's a long distance relationship. So you have to be able to accommodate for that. You have to be ready and you have to know whether or not you're ready in that sense. So are you ready? And what was the other question? I'm talking so much. I forgot my questions. But you have to be ready first, and then you have to know your definition of love. What is love to you? And for that, or is it the lonely talking? That was the last one. But you have to know your definition of love. And then are you afraid? Some people are afraid to be loved. Some people are afraid to let people care about them. And sometimes it's their upbringing. Sometimes it's, past relationships. Other times it's just their personality flaws where they feel like they just have to be very, very, very independent and, they can't depend on anybody or whatever it may be. But are you ready for, first off, are you ready? And if you determine are you ready, are you afraid of anything? Are you scared to be vulnerable with me and let me know your deepest, darkest secrets, the things that have hurt you in the past? And that's really important. And this kind of ties in with being emotionally and mentally available. But a emphasis on that is if you're not able to be vulnerable and open with the person, especially somebody that's supposed to be your significant other, there will always be a distance between you two. And when there's a distance, something is going to be lacking in both of you all. And whereas the person who may be at fault for having the distance because they're unavailable for whatever reason, they may not feel like it's anything there. They may feel like this is normal for me. But the other person may not feel as close as they want to. And they may feel that they're doing something wrong. And that's where some cheating occurs, or you just have these misunderstandings to where it's always arguing because there's a person that feels like they're being left out or left behind, or there's some type of something that they need to close, but they can't figure it out. And then there's a problem with articulating those feelings as well. So, are you afraid? We all have to learn to first love ourselves and understand that there's nothing wrong with allowing people to love us. And everyone is not going to love us in the way that we want them to love us. And so when you love yourself enough, you know what it will take to love you, and you know what type of love you're looking for. And so you know when something isn't right, it's time to let it go. It's time to walk away. You know, when you see too many red flags, or you just feel like, you know what, this ain't right. And some of us just have that innate gut feeling like, okay, you fine, like real fine. And, you know, we good, like, you know, we have pretty good chemistry and all that other stuff, but something is just off. Something's off. Like, there's just something not there that I need. It may be that spark that just, you know, when that person calls you, it takes you, just lights you on fire and just like, oh my God, I have to pick up the phone. That's bad. Or it could be that closeness, like I was just saying, you know, you feel like there's, you know, you have that intimacy. That's a better word. Intimacy. You feel like there's a good intimacy between you two, but that may be lacking for, you know, this particular person. And so where you have that chemistry and you want to talk to them, and yes, they're fine, but there's no intimacy between you two that ties you together and makes you feel like, oh yeah, this is working on us becoming a couple. We're close to being one, like we're working to be one. There's no, you know, that personal deep connection that you feel and then you kind of work on as a bond. You know, there are a lot of things, and I'm only speaking from my experience from past relationships. So, you know, but there's some things that I'm missing. And if I'm missing some stuff and you want me to say it, you know, don't forget that number is 202-599-1092. Just letting y'all know. So, but anyhow, you have that. Then you also have the, oh my gosh, what's the question? Am I afraid? That's it. Am I afraid? And then um, the lonely talking. Oh no. So yeah, I hit them all. I wanted to make sure y'all. I didn't write them down. That was actually something that came to my head while I was talking to y'all, and I was trying to remember. So you know, you have to be ready. You have to be ready. You have to know what love is for. You know, ready for love, or is it the lonely talking? And then on top of that, you have to know, are you afraid? And if it's the lonely talking, be upfront about it. Be upfront about whatever it is. One thing that I don't like, because it's happened to me a lot, is when a person leads you on and it seems like they want a relationship, but they really don't. Or it seems like they want something that they're not ready for. Be honest and upfront about who you are and what you're looking for in a person. Honesty is always the best policy. Be honest, be clear. You know, like I told you all before, I have a problem where when I say some things, I don't say exactly what I mean. I tend to talk in riddles and, you know, subtle nuances that you have to know me in order to know what I'm saying. So I've gotten to where it's a little bit more plain. Everything's a little bit more concise. I don't like to do it, but I guess it works better for me when I'm talking to people that don't know me. So be concise, be clear about whatever it is that you're looking for. If you're just looking for friends with benefits, be clear about that. Don't have someone thinking, oh, you know, we about to be together, blah, blah, blah. Y'all doing all this life planning, and you just want a couple booty calls whenever you feel like it. And the rest of it, you don't want to be bothered any other day or during the daytime period. Be clear, be concise, the worst thing you can do is lie to someone, lead them on, and then you end up breaking their heart because they had their heart set on something. So it's something that you never intended on anyway. So just be clear and be concise about it. So that's my spiel on, relationships and things like that. Um, so, give me some other, but hit me with some other advice and some other things about relationships, any tips that you may have, any, experiences that you may have had with relationships, let me know what's going on, what y'all got going on in y'all lives, something that may be going on now, I can talk about it, give you a little advice on it, something like that. We'll, let's dialogue back and forth. And again, that number is 202-599-1092. So hit my line or even comment on the video. I'm always watching, ready to comment. So comment on the video. Let me know what you think. And, we'll just dialogue back and forth and we'll try and work this relationship thing out. We're going to work this love thing out. I believe that love is out there for every single person on this planet. You are just like any other type of success or anything like that. Love is one of the greatest successes and actually the greatest gifts in this world. And you are in control of finding that love. If you, live your life the right way and you do the things you have to do, don't play around with people's hearts and stuff like that, you'll find it. There's love out there for all of us. So, don't give up. Don't give up on love. Because it's not love that hurts us, but the people that don't know how to love that hurts us. Gotcha. But anyway, so like I said, May is Mental Health Awareness Month, which is also my birth month too. But it's Mental Health Awareness Month. And mental health is something that's very, very, very important for all of us because it takes a functioning brain in order to be a functioning and healthy human being. So, with that being said, I just want to point out a couple things about Mental Health Awareness Month. First of which, the theme for Mental Health Awareness Month for May of 2016 is Life with Mental Illness. And what the campaign for social media is pound mental illness feels like. So what they're doing is asking men and women and children with mental illnesses to explain what it is that they live with every day. So if a person who is bipolar, they would explain the highs and the lows of being bipolar and how they struggle and manage with that every day. So we really get a full scope, a first-hand scope of what it is to be mentally ill or what it is to live with a mental illness, because a lot of them actually lead very regular lives, especially with therapy, advances in medication, things like that. So a lot of people that we work with, go to school with, they have some mental illnesses that we may not know about because they've gotten a good handle on it, which is a very, very good thing. You have to know what you're dealing with in order to have a handle on it. And every person is different. So one thing I've learned in a lot of my classes is there are a lot of treatments out there. And in this class in particular that I'm taking, abnormal psychology, shout out to Dr. Robinson, by the way, FAMU, Dr. Jackie Robinson. But one of the big things that we learn about in in the abnormal psychology class is that there are a lot of different treatments, but every treatment affects every person individually because, of course, all humans are different in their own rights. So in order to thoroughly treat or come up with a treatment routine for a person, one must first get to know that person. Then they need to get to know the illness and how the illness affects that person. Then you introduce different treatments for that person based on the aspect of life that you feel has impacted or is the cause of the problem. So if someone has like bipolar episodes quite frequently and they live in a very unstable home or a home that causes a lot of stress and anxiety, it could be the family or the living situation. So you might want to counsel the family, something like that. So you have to come up with different, everybody has their own case and things like that when they visit their therapist. So the therapist goes along by the case after their initial interviews and things like that to figure out what it is to help that person. So in order to create a better life for someone, you have to get to know them first, as a therapist and things like that, and create a treatment routine so that they can follow it and find out which strategies work. You know, something may work temporarily, but it doesn't work long term. So it's always advancing. It always advancing because people are always advancing and they're always growing and living in, you know, new experiences. So that's one thing. And we get that scope, you know, there I'm pretty sure some of the videos and the pictures and things like that will tell us what it is that they deal with every day and how they deal with it. So it's very, very important. Um, and I also encourage you all to go check some of them out. I haven't looked at them yet. I'm about to. But check it out. You can go to mentalhealthamerica.net. That's the official website for the Mental Health Awareness Month and the events. And when you go to mentalhealthawareness.net/, feels like, that's where you'll find where they're posting the poems and all those other posts and things like that. So go check that out, see what it's like, and just, you know, educate yourselves. I'm going to come back on my next show with a couple facts and things like that. So we'll have some interesting facts about mental health and ways that you can stay on top of yours. But in the meantime, for any organizations or any person that is looking to try and get involved for the last couple weeks that we do have in May, if you go to www.mentalhealthamerica.net/May, this gives you the theme layout. I'm looking at the website now. It gives you the theme layout for the week. It has a whole set on the side for different stages of this and that, how to get involved, and it gives you infographics on life with anxiety, depression, bipolar, psychosis, life in recovery for those that may be dependent on drugs, things like that. And it also gives you a toolkit for your organization or for an individual person. And the toolkit includes media materials, including key messages, drop-in articles, sample press releases, and Mental Health May sample proclamation. Um, so this is stuff that you can use to kind of draft together what it is that you want to do as far as your activism or your program. The infographic fact sheet that incorporates plain language explanations of diagnostic criteria for mental illnesses, first person accounts about how it feels, a breakdown of common myths and misperceptions, screening data for mental health awareness screening from mentalhealthawareness-screening.org, and coping skills on the topics of depression, anxiety, bipolar, psychosis, and recovery. 3 worksheets that individuals can use to make a mental health plan to help them work through symptoms and challenge intrusive thoughts. Goodies for social media, including sample posts and images, banner images for the web, and 31 mental health tips, also known as the calendar poster. So this entire toolkit will get you through the rest of the month as far as becoming interested. Oh, and that was for the organization. Yeah, those are for the organization. Individuals have something a little different, and they ask that individuals that do want to participate tag your Twitter and Instagram posts with mental health illness feels like. That's pound mental health illness feels like. They will be collected and displayed on the website I just gave you all, mentalhealthamerica.net/feels like. You can submit an anonymous post with images and or text. Check out mentalhealthamerica.net/feels like to see what other people are saying about how it feels to live with a mental illness, excuse me. And they just give you some other things that you can do as an individual person to get involved. They have a lot of cute little, oh, these pictures are cute. They have nice little pictures and things like that on the website. So you can download the toolkit for your organizations or just for yourself to get involved and do what you can to spread awareness on mental health. Because like I said, a lot of people have illnesses and things like that and they don't know. And one of the problems is when people don't know, they choose not to seek treatment when things seem abnormal. They think, you know, they can manage it or everybody else goes through that. Like there was a person, one of our professors told us about, who his mother was teaching him about sex. And the way that she taught him about sex was through molesting him, although some people, you know, it's really weird. So just bear with me. Once he became of age, she would get in the bathtub with him, or they would take a shower together. And in the shower and after the shower, she would teach him about sex by performing sexual acts on him. And because he was an only child in a single parent home, this is how he thought every other child was being raised. So when he went to school, he believed that every other child, be it male or female, their parent of the opposite sex taught them about sex by having sex with them. When he found out that wasn't the case, it was something very different. And a lot of his peers, as he was older, told him that was not the case. So some people don't know that some of the things that happen to them and that they experience are not normal because A, we don't talk about it all the time because, we think that it's normal. B, if we know that it's not normal, we don't want to be picked at. And that's one of the greatest flaws that we as friends or we as other human beings can do to a person when they experience something that is abnormal. Pick at them and make them feel less than or self-conscious because of something that they experience. Mental health can affect people in a way that when they do shut down, it's almost impossible to get them back. Some, go on these trips and, they just lose it and they become a person that they're not normally at all. They have the like bipolar people, they're up, and when they're up and it's just like really, really high. But when they go down and go into depression, it gets really bad and really tough and everything is just dark for them. And it takes a very caring person to pull them out of that. And then you have some where they just go into fits of rage and, they end up just breaking everything in the house. So, you have to be conscious of the people and you have to know how to help them and how to treat them and what treatment would be best for them. And then encourage them to seek treatment on their own or to go seek a, professional help. Even if, like I said in the last video, go with a friend. If you feel like they're going to be self-conscious or anything like that, go with them. And don't make them feel bad about it. No joking, no teasing or anything like that. If you feel like it's something serious, go check it out. Just to make sure. So if it's not something serious, at least you can say, hey, we got that check. You good, whatever. So that's my spiel, y'all, on mental health. It's very important. Go get yourselves evaluated. Perform some of these worksheets and things like that on you. There's nothing wrong with finding out that you have some type of disorder or maybe an imbalance or anything like that. It's way more common than you think. Some people are very good at hiding it. Other people don't know. So the more you know, that's what we're going to go with that whole thing. The more you know, the better it is for you. So know thyself. And that is a part of knowing thyself, knowing your mind, knowing the things that you have going on within your mind. So you all, that's the end of the show. That's all I had to talk about today. I just had to really get that out because that was something that really, really stood out to me. If you're not, make sure that you subscribe to the NYPS Network at www.nypsnetwork.com. Subscribe so that you receive all of the updates about not just my show, but we also have Morning Tea with DeMarc. And Crew also has a radio show where she spins some really, really, really good music, y'all. Y'all really be in y'all feelings messing around with her sometimes. And then sometimes she know how to turn you up. So, yeah, just subscribe to the NYPS Network. Keep up to date on everything that we're doing, up to date on our shows when they post. Jamad Kelly also is doing live with a life coach. So keep up on that as well for some encouraging words for those of us who may be going through some tough times. You can also hit his Facebook and you will actually find links to be able to talk to him in person, on the phone or however it is that you wish to contact him, and our other life coaches that we have at NYPS. So be certain to check out the NYPS Network. Like I said, go and subscribe at www.nypsnetwork.com. Also, if you have anything that you want to talk to me about or you want to ask me about, anything or show suggestions, comments about anything that I said in this show or any previous shows, anything like that, hit me up at 202-599-1092. And that's my personal line. Respond to you as soon as I wake up, because more than likely, if I don't respond, I'm asleep or in class, but more than likely, I'm asleep. So, especially with the time difference. So, anyway, for some of us. So, anyway, hit my line and let me know what's going on. Or you can drop a comment on the video on YouTube or under the post on NYPS or on the post on my page, because I do post these videos on my page as well. So, hit me up on there. And, yeah, I think that's it. Just want to thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all for being faithful viewers. Like, comment, share, all that good stuff. Tag people in the post and all that stuff. Whatever. It's really interesting stuff. And thank you all so much for viewing. And I will see you all next week on Monday Nights with me, your host, Dannie Stewart. Peace, love, and blessings, everybody.
Are you looking for urban, creative, intellectual, and socially forward LGBTQ media? The new National Youth Pride Services Network provides more than 1,000 live and on-demand hours of programming from and around the world on several platforms simultaneously, including YouTube, Periscope, radio, Apple TV, and Chromecast. With original programs from NYPS, the fastest-growing Black LGBTQ movement in the U.S., as well as from other amazing producers, you are sure to find something you like each and every day. For your free subscription, visit www.nypsnetwork.com today.